Last time on Dice Fall and Everybody Dies, we meet three intrepid heroes: Steno, the Hellknight Hopeful;
Slouching is for ugly people.
Demos, the Salacious Bard;
I'll take what I can get.
and Taffy, the Gnomish Wizard.
Do you even lift, bro? I love it!
As they learn the pecking order.
Why wasn't the tall woman carrying the bags too?
Well, you see, she stabs the things, and I carry the stuff.
Yeah, but that's what a horse or a dog is for, isn't it?
Yes, but we don't have that. We have me.
How to speak louder into the mic. Demos,
I am going to use one of my spells.
as they survive the attack of a vicious arsonist. The clerk saw everything. It was Calmont, that cad from the bookseller's apprentice. Yes, he lit the fires in the hall next to the chamber. What rising star looms as Breach Hill cries out for heroes? Join our descent into the halls of Hellknight Hill as we play Paizo's new adventure path, Age of Ashes. Welcome back, everyone. I'm Christopher Nethery, the GM for Dice Fall and Everybody Dies. Thank you all for listening to our first episode and starting this one. We don't know yet where this game's going to take us, but our group is happy to share the journey with you. Until I absolutely TPK the party, I should probably come up with a contingency for that one. But before then, please let us know what you think of the podcast with either an upvote, a comment, or a slanderous rebuttal of our production values and game style. Your feedback really helps us make the podcast better, and we can't thank you enough for it. Speaking of feedback, after recording, we noticed we could have spent a little more time introducing each character. So I suggested we record some enhanced intros for each character. Let's introduce once more Steno and Taffy.
Hi, I'm Shay, and I'm playing Steno Amdamal, the human Chelish fighter who is out here trying to see what she can gain for glory and power to become the best Hell Knight she can. She collects Hell Knight autographs, she collects Hell Knight merchandise like she's a Pokemon trainer, and she's ready to get out there and maybe slay some things, cut some things in half.
Hi, my name's Sid. My character is Tafaxio Jaxi. She goes by Taffy. She is a gnome. She has a Fey Familiar and is a wizard of the Necromancy School. Her life goals include becoming the greatest wizard known to the world and becoming a lich. She's a fun character and is super friendly and loves everybody and likes to make friends.
Enhanced. Oh, and our next episode we shall feature Demos, as well as our new player who you'll get to hear from in just a moment or two. But before we begin, I want to shout out about our background sounds being provided by the awesome folks of Sirenscape, as well as our intro music that's done by Kevin MacLeod and is used under the Creative Commons license. If you enjoy the podcast, please thumbs up, favorite, follow, and comment with ways that we can improve. But now, it is time for episode 2 of Dice Fall and Everybody Dies. Everyone, welcome back. Last time we left off, y'all had just finished evacuating everyone from a burning building. And before we start, we have our fourth player finally joining us. Zach, welcome.
Hi.
We will be bringing your character here in just a few moments. And we can go ahead and get a little bit of background for some of what your character has been doing. We do know so far that your character has just arrived in Breach Hill and you were here for the Call of Heroes, but you are a little late for reasons that are known specifically to your character presently. As soon as your character is showing up, you saw that there was smoke beginning to rise up from the center of town. Mm-hmm. You began moving towards that because you knew you were supposed to be arriving around noon. You're about half an hour past noon at this point, so you know you're already late for the Call to Heroes, so you're hoping to be able to get in. As you know, all city functions tend to run long in general. But as soon as you're showing up, you see that there's a bunch of people gathered outside of the town hall itself. There's obvious smoke and people moving to put out what appears to be the remnants of a fire as you arrive. And that's because apparently there was some sort of arson going on, and you're coming up just as someone of authority, a woman, is calling in and is actually calling out for heroes because 3 people have stepped forward: a gnome, a human, as well as a half-elf?
Yes.
Excellent. Have to remember Demos is the half-elf of the group. And so that's about the scene as you see it coming forward. And that's because in our last adventure, our heroes did a very good job of evacuating people and absolutely abandoning the property to go ahead and be set ablaze and handled by the peons below.
Ah, yes, God forbid we save the humans.
That's a really good heroing, guys. Good job.
Stop it.
I don't account for property damage.
I'm not sure what we were supposed to do. Most of our abilities are fire.
Look, it's covered by insurance. It's fine. Like a good neighbor.
Like a good neighbor, Breach Hill is here. Stonemasons. So the woman who is addressing everyone in the congregation is Greta Gardania. Yeah, Danya. I always want to say Greta Gardenia just because I think of the flower, but there's not a second I after the A, so I have to make sure that I don't say something entirely mispronouncing because I know someone's going to call me out on that terribly. And as you're coming up, what you hear is her last lines. But we can't do it alone. Who are the heroes in attendance today? Heroes, are you willing to investigate Hellknight Hill? And that's the moment that your character is showing up, Zach. Y'all now have the obvious ones that she's addressing at this point is y'all 3 because she spotted y'all when you came in. Y'all definitely took charge and authority during the fire situation that was going on. You helped quite a few people out. Everyone seems to be in fairly high spirits for this point in time. I mean, their town hall just was beset by an arsonist, but they have able-bodied heroes that they are presently assuming is going to go fetch the arsonist for them. But they would like to know y'all's qualifications first, because y'all had a moment to step up and kind of say kind of who you are and introduce yourselves, but they know very little about you from the town councilor perspective. Is there anything y'all would like to shout out before you go, before anyone gets prepped?
Is this where we lay out our resume, or?
They would like to have an idea of who they are asking to go hunt down someone.
Do I need references?
They are a plus.
That was me in normal, not in character.
I don't think I prepped my last 5 years of employment history. Like, desperate times call for desperate measures, y'all. You can't really be vetting candidates at this point.
I'm a wizard.
Excellent. Do you happen to have spells that are capable of restraining or keeping someone from getting away from you?
Yeah.
Excellent. You'll be very good at procuring Calmont, that dastardly fiend who set fire to the building.
Oh, so we know who did it.
That is what the guard said.
Assumptions made, but maybe.
And you look quite able-bodied. Lord knows, poor Paul over there is rubbing his shoulder every time he looks at you.
I can handle pretty much anything that gets thrown at me, yes.
And then maybe this one over here would be good at smoothing over the situation.
Oh, yes, definitely.
Smooths a lot of things over.
Well, I think, though we normally like to send folks out in groups of 4, 3 should be possible, unless we have another hero in attendance who hasn't spoken up yet. Maybe the grumbly one over there.
I'm here to make money, not get mixed up in local affairs.
Oh, well, this is a paid position.
Oh.
If money is what you need, well, we are doing 2 requests. Well, let's see. For double checking on the Bramble Bashers, we can offer a bounty of 10 gold, and if we can bring Calmont back in alive for questioning, that can be another 10 gold to be split amongst you.
Alive?
Preferably, he's hard to question when dead.
You lack imagination.
Depending on the spells.
Maybe we've not yet had an appropriate spellcaster, but they are still easier to question alive than dead.
If you say so.
Ooh, we questioned some of your experience. Maybe y'all are more experienced than we know. Maybe this will be brought to a quick and rapid resolution. But time is of the essence. Can we rely on you three for maybe?
I have things to do, but I'm sure I could work it in my schedule.
Okay, buddy.
Make sure you notice down in your planner.
I'm game.
Yes.
Excellent. Do y'all know your way to Hellknight Hill?
Oh, of course.
Most excellent.
I know everything about every Hell Knight that's ever walked this earth.
Wow, that's a lot of Hell Knights.
I have a lot of signatures.
Signatures? Is that like...
Anyway, I need to go get my sword.
Excellent. If you have any questions, we'll be happy to assist with any. And yes, please, we can definitely use y'all's assistance on this. The town guard are ill-equipped to be able to handle things given the new rebuilding efforts we have to put onto their plates. If y'all have any other questions that you want for the head of the council, this is an opportunity to bring those in. The four of y'all do stand out amongst all the folks who are here, primarily because y'all generally look like adventurers. You don't carry on like the standard townsfolk. They have offered the bounty to cover that, any of y'all's expenses, and they do want as quick a resolution as possible because they're very much afraid that the town will get set on more fire if Calmont is let free at this point, since he is the one presently blamed, and they want to make sure that he's brought in for questioning and that justice is properly served. So if I remember correctly from our first session, Steno is presently without armor and weapons, and you're in your...
I am fully equipped, with the exception of my bags. But I have all of my materials with me. I have my staff. I have Wimble. So I'm good to go.
Okay. So y'all will want to make some preparations before you go. So at this point, y'all are able to approach this obstacle through any means that y'all have in y'all's minds at the moment. We do want to go ahead and see what our new character, Zach's character, is. Is there anything that your character would want to do to introduce himself?
He typically probably just wants to keep it cool. I think he kind of is proud of his mystery, so I think if anybody tries to dig too deep, he's gonna deflect a little bit. So he's not gonna go out of his way to explain himself right now.
Well, do you want to wait for everyone on the outside of town, or follow them back to their lodgings as they finish their preparing?
I'd like to make a perception check about Zach's character, like what I can see.
All right.
17?
So how would you describe your character, Zach?
He's wearing earthen tones. He has like swashbuckler-looking boots on that go almost to his knees. He's got big old silver buckles on him. He's got a cape, and he's wearing one of those old musketeer hats, like the pointy ones in the front that kind of goes back with a if that's what it's called, then yeah, exactly. So that's kind of his whole thing right now. He's also has gloves because he's cool.
Because he's cool.
Because he's so cool.
He's cool.
And is he carrying any weapons?
He's got a short sword on his hilt, or on his whatever down there on his hip. That word. And an axe on his back. It's strapped to his back over the shoulder, kind of, so he can grab it and if he needs to get to it fast.
Like a big axe, or just like a regular axe?
Yeah, like a normal size.
Like a woodcutter's axe?
Like a hatchet kind of size. Not huge. Just enough to get in there and kind of do a little bit of... I guess that doesn't really come through on the thing.
Right, waving your hand back and forth is a good way to convey information visually.
Yeah. It's about a foot and a half long.
Okay.
Sharp blade. Something to get in tight with, not going to swing real hard with it, but...
So as Steno grabs all of her gear, is there any other preparations that Demos and Taffy want to make?
Demos would have to go back with Steno because his stuff's in her room.
I'll follow them, and while we're at the inn, I'll buy Wimble another shot of pure vodka. He's got a high metabolism. He sobers up pretty quick.
Do you buy Wimble the good stuff?
Nah, he's okay with you know,
Everclear.
Everclear, yeah.
So Wimble has got the. Does he have a full shot or the?
I got
small-
him a thimble again.
Another thimble shot. So this one you get a little bit on the house because it's a little sprite, and there's quite a bit of novelty to seeing a sprite basically throw a shot back. And in this case, Wimble, sensing that y'all are about to head out into another crazy misadventure with his, well, he's not quite sure if he wants to call you a master or not in his brain.
Friends.
His friend, yeah. He knocks it back. What is this gnome going to get me into this time? In my mind, Wimble is now a hard drinking sort of
Clint Eastwood
sprite.
type.
Yes, a Clint Eastwood sprite.
5 o'clock shadow.
Yeah.
Yes. It's like normally you only see the clean shaven sprites running around, and they're just like, haha, they may be playing pranks or all those others, but no, this one's
He
every
looks like
time he
Willem
starts getting
Dafoe.
drunk, he starts getting more and more like Clint
It's got
Eastwood.
that look.
Willem Dafoe with wings.
Yes.
Yeah.
The fluttery.
It was like a bright neon
Cast
pink.
Willem Dafoe in a fairy movie. I need this.
So Steno gets all of her gear together. Demos gets all of Demos's gear together. So everyone's all geared up, ready for battle and adventure. Y'all know that Hellknight Hill is about 6 miles or so outside of town, a little bit further up into the mountains. So which one of y'all is probably the most prepared to go to a place that they have yet to be? Because y'all have all heard of Hellknight Hill, but none of y'all have visited Hellknight Hill yet.
Stano is ready to go.
Ready to go.
She is prepped.
I have no
She is
problem
pumped.
tracking. Well, my
Deimos
character
is
has no
fine to
problem
go.
tracking it for sure. So
All right, so
I've got my maps.
utilizing Taffy's maps, you're able to see that there's a pretty easy to follow trail. It just splits off a little bit from where you can tell that folks go off into the hills for either doing different types of gathering like wood and lumber or stone. So you can see those are definitely the most well-traveled venues at this point. And then you see what looks like it was a deteriorated road at this point that was once heavily used and had a lot of traffic going to and from, is easily demarked on the way, and it looks like it's the one that's leading up following along Taffy's maps, and y'all can follow that. It'll take probably another few hours, and it would be evening, dusk at the point of time that y'all arrive, and when y'all come up across one part of the hill, y'all begin seeing the rising battlements of Castle All-Terrain. At different points, you can see that there's some crumbling to the facade. Here in the mountains, the sun is beginning to set, kind of casting a glow, and there's obvious red smoke rising up from the top of some of the highest battlements that are there. You see glints of different points of the masonry, the crenellated aspect of the towers standing out against, but then you can also see where age and weather has just worn down parts that it hasn't really been kept up in about several years at least. Different parts of the masonry seem to be broken along parts of the battlements that are there. What once looked like they could have been well-trimmed bushes and greenery have just blown up and grown and become just thickets 10 feet around from the base of the castle. Not untraversable, but definitely difficult terrain that you'd have to pick your way through. It's not something that you would walk through in a ball gown by any stretch of the means. From what y'all can tell, there's a hillock not too far away from the entrance that would be a pretty decent place to set up camp if y'all wanted to camp and then approach it early light. But you can also see that the front door is also just slightly ajar. You have the sense of silence as you see just the echoes of order beginning to break down, and just the smoke just rising up as we begin approaching night.
Taffy will stand there for a long minute, just kind of reveling in the silence, and then she'll turn and look at everybody. Dibs! It's mine when we're done. She wants a castle.
This is good old Chelish architecture. And you
I
think
know.
it's going to go to a gnome?
This no. Anyway,
Bold
let's go.
assumption.
So, do y'all want to rest up for the night, or do y'all want an approach in the morning, or do y'all want to go ahead and approach as dusk is falling?
I ain't afraid of no ghosts.
I want to see if I can figure out what's going on around the area. See if the grounds are, if there's anything hiding in the grounds or anything like that.
Okay, no. Give me a survival check.
We need to sleep in jail. I only have 3 hit points.
Now, did you want to actually try to find a basic spellcaster before you left town? You did have an opportunity. Did you want to use one of your... Did you take a healing spell yourself?
No, I did not.
Okie doke. Zach, have you shared your character's name or title yet with everyone?
No, but if they ask, I will give them some information. I'm
While
sure.
he's exploring, I'm gonna come up behind him and kind of look around him, see what he's looking at. Hi, I'm Taffy.
I love taffy.
Me too. That's why I have it as a nickname.
Ah, nickname. What's your real name?
My name is Tafaxio Daxi.
Ah, Mario Fax Machine. I love it.
Close enough.
So as you begin exploring around the castle itself, that definitely takes a bit of time to do a thorough examination of. About 10 feet around is difficult terrain, overgrown bushes. On the northern side of the keep, you can tell that there's probably a 15-foot swath of masonry that's crumbled in, and that's crumbled down into almost a pit at this point, where it is crumbled masonry and even some water damage going on. You begin getting around the western side, and you see that there's another set of masonry that is also exposed, and you can kind of see a little bit inside there. And as you're getting around to the southern side of the keep, as the light gets darker and darker, at this point you're kind of more in the low light. You haven't had a need to break out a torch yet, but you're just before about that time. You see that there's one more spot of what appears to be exposed masonry, where it looks like you could probably get ingress again. And then you're coming back around to the eastern side, and you see that there's actually another door that was initially hidden by some of the brush that was there and has been overgrown. And as you're back towards the front, the more common entrance on the eastern side, that is the door that is ajar. So you have multiple methods of entry. And the
Did
smoke
anyone
rises.
get a good look at this dude we're supposed to be chasing down?
Angry looking halfling.
Halfway.
Halfling.
Yeah, he's a halfling. Taller than me.
Oh. That doesn't add up.
So what?
Don't worry about it.
So, there's several ways to get in?
So when you were trying to
Peek around him.
peek around, you would see, because essentially what Zach's character was doing was getting around and getting like the best vantage points, and you were just following behind him as he was doing it, seeing all the things that he was seeing at the same time of what was going on. And you saw there's, in addition to the door that is ajar, it looks like there are 3 other points of entry that you could use.
I would think that we should probably not go through the door that's ajar, because that looks like an obvious trap. And I'm not dumb. And I don't like traps.
So,
Maybe we could send our new buddy through it.
I'm going to designate the halfling as my target to track.
Okay,
So, I would like to do that.
give me a survival.
8.
So as you were...
I described the halfling in more detail. I don't know if that'll help.
Give me an aid.
Just a raw 20. 11.
So, with the description and knowing a little bit more that they are a halfling, about what their size was, using the very creative descriptions from the gnome, what you can probably tell is that the easiest entrance is likely the one that was used in this case.
Mm-hmm.
You didn't see any of the masonry look like it had been recent slides, as anyone had attempted to, anyone human had attempted to go up, but you noticed that there was a lot of ingress in and out of the northern slide, and that it was wider. It looked like it was more used, but it doesn't look like it was used by humanoids.
Okay. So, Stano obviously has a big history with Hell Knights and such. What all would she know about the lore behind this castle?
Give me a society check.
I can do as soon as I find my D20.
Can I also use my
20.
lore?
So, Castle All-Terrain was a headquarters for the Hell Knights of the Nail. They used the grounds for general training, bringing in new recruits, and it was fairly heavily used until a lot of material started being directed towards Varissia, and a lot of resources were dedicated towards Corvosa and that surrounding area. When they moved their general headquarters from All-Terrain up to Varissia, they kept a skeleton crew for about 20 or 30 years, and in the last decade, they pulled everyone from the area, and now it has been vacant for the last 8 for anyone who's wanted to come in, people, monsters. From what you gathered in the town and speaking with Helba earlier, actually you were speaking with, wasn't Helba, it was one of the others, but speaking with the goblin emissary, Warble, there we go. In speaking with Warble, you know that there's a friendly tribe of goblins that had moved into the lower reaches of the keep itself. And you assume that their signal up there means that they're not in the lower parts, that they're likely somewhere at the top right now associated with that signal and keeping it going. Because someone has to keep a signal going continuously, so someone's maintaining it.
I would recommend we camp. Go in the morning. No sense going in unprepared.
I don't object.
Especially with the half-elf being a half-elf.
Singed.
A little singed, yeah.
A little crispy.
It was a
But
rough
you,
day.
I don't camp with anybody whose name I don't know.
Then I'll just go by myself.
No!
Then.
Oh, just give your name.
You said you liked Taffy. You're my friend now. What's your name?
Just call me the Corvosan.
The Crevosan? The Croissant? I'm gonna call you Bread. I like bread.
I like bread too.
Okay, Brad.
Cool.
And I'm writing that down. Bread the Corvosan.
Could I roll a society check to see if I can figure out what class the Corvosan is from?
Yes.
Cool. 20. I
The
know everything
Corvosan-
about you.
The Corvosan carries himself as as part of the nobility. You can see the hints of the training, a little bit of how the shoulders are carried. It's not quite military, but it's definitely trained. It's not soft nobility. You're familiar with soft nobility. The different tells, how the head's carried a little bit, a certain type of stillness that's there. Bread carries himself in a way that is one that has been exceptionally trained.
You do magic?
No, I don't need magic.
Okay, cool. You can stay with us.
I do magic.
But you're not a Corvosan.
No.
Don't worry about it.
Okay.
So does anyone have the medicine skill that might be able to assist your crispy bard?
I don't even have it.
Okie doke. So,
You three decided to go adventuring together, and nobody even knows how to dress a fucking wound?
Why are you addressing us as though we're friends?
I don't have friends. This is how I address everyone.
I didn't say friends with you.
I'm gonna use one of my spells once we set up camp to cast alarm around the camp perimeter so that we can all sleep.
So as y'all begin making camp and getting everything settled down, the campfire's getting up and started. It's much easier when you have a wizard who can just be like, "Oh, fire!" But
I'm not that kind of wizard.
oh, does anyone have a produce flame cantrip?
I have flint and tinder.
Also exceedingly useful.
I have that too.
Same.
You get everything set up for bedding down for the night, and as the final bits of dusk are coming up, you actually see that there appears to be a small figure coming up along the road towards y'all.
I draw my weapon.
As it gets closer, and no one has dark vision, right?
Hold on. No, I have low light.
I have low light.
About 60 feet away from the campfire, everyone with low light vision can tell that it's actually Warble. It seems as though she's accompanied y'all on the way up to here. Y'all forgot one thing.
Oh?
Well, in all the haste and bustle, and especially considering you had to run off to get your arms and armor ready, Miss Gardania, she had something to give for y'all for helping rescue everyone. It's like, and especially because it looks like, is it just Demos? Is it like Sir Demos or?
Demos is fine.
Okay, Demos. We kind of felt bad about how singed you got when you were fending off that crazy fire beast, and so we wanted to make sure that we repaid you a little bit. And here, and Warble hands over to y'all what appear to be 2 minor healing potions.
Oh, good.
Convenient.
Y'all got a nice camp set up here. Are y'all gonna wait until morning?
No sense going in under the cover of dark. Who knows what could be budding?
Understandable. Would you like some assistance out here? I can help maintain your horses while y'all are going in.
Do we have horses?
Or,
We have horses.
I have a wolf dog.
I have a figurative horse.
Wait.
You know how you suggest a goblin take care of your dog?
Well, it's a wolf.
What is a
I am-
wolfhound?
I am well accustomed. Again, I am the diplomat to Breach Hill.
You're okay
When-
with dogs?
While
Well-
they're not necessarily my most favored creature in the world, I have to. You have to make certain types of allocations for living in a primarily human settlement.
Okay. I'll let Braxton know it's okay.
Excellent. He is trained not to bite, though, right?
Especially if I tell him not to.
Could you please tell him not to?
I'll tell him not to bite you.
Excellent.
I go over to Braxton and tell him not to bite her.
Ah, the well-trained ones are always the good ones.
Well, Stano's gonna put away her sword. No sense holding it in front of the goblin.
Thank you. That sword is much longer than I am.
Hurt, wouldn't it?
Yes? It doesn't have to be a very long blade for it to hurt very much.
There.
I've known bows that are longer than you.
There's a tale of a goblin legend of one being shot by a bow of a god. We're not quite sure if that was purposeful or not. It's a fun story.
Shot like an arrow?
Yes!
Do you have anywhere you need to be?
No, they're fine here.
Well, my friends in tribe are up in there, but it's too dangerous for me to go in myself. So I'm here to do what I can for them, and that means assisting y'all.
Great.
You're a man of few words. You're a man, right? You're not an elf or anything, right? It's hard to tell with your head. You hide your ears.
What do you care about my ears for?
Well, it's a fast way to tell whether or not someone's an elf. Skin color is normally a good way to tell if they're an orc, but you don't look like an orc.
Problems, Toast?
His name's Bread.
Croissant?
Dinner roll?
You know, if you have abs, we can call you flatbread.
If you're especially tan, we could call you wheat bread.
Or even darker, we could call you Rye.
If you get stabbed with a bit's called breadcrumbs.
You're enjoying this way too much.
It is very entertaining.
For the weak-minded, maybe.
Yeah, okay.
So
I'm gonna set up my tent and go to bed.
So y'all finish y'all's camp preparations. Warble, you find, is actually exceedingly good at helping set up whatever else is not yet done in camp, especially now that it's dark outside. So when Taffy goes to start setting up her tent, Warble's just like, "Can I help?"
Sure.
And then your tent is like, poof, basically like done in like 4 seconds.
Can I keep you?
Want to be friends?
Yeah.
Awesome. I don't know where that awesome came from.
I like the pitch dump. That was really good.
So, is anyone going to set a watch for the night?
That's what the alarm does. I've made it so that, I've set it up so that any one of the party members will be immediately awoken when the alarm goes off.
Can you set that? Did it alarm trip off when Warble came up?
No, because we were aware that she was coming.
Then that being the case, we'll go ahead and through the evening passes by uneventfully. With that, everyone who has taken damage will regain their Constitution modifier and HP.
Awesome.
And we're going to do a quick double check to see if Warble has any ability to heal or to medicine, because Demos looks very crispy still.
Slightly crunchy.
Wait, have you used the potion?
So what
yet?
you're saying is that Deimos looks hot.
Yes, absolutely.
Okay.
Except he looks hot on a normal basis, so he just kind of looks overcooked.
Does he,
now.
though?
No, he looks overcooked.
So, unfortunately, Warble is not trained in medicine either. So, that's going to make this adventure so fun. At least you have 2 healing potions.
Well, we'll have to use those wisely.
Alright, so dawn ends up coming to this part of the area. Rises in the east, sets in the west. So when the sun begins rising, you see the twilight keep for the most part, because the mountains are to the east of y'all. And so it begins rising up. Early part of the morning, y'all are able to wake up.
And one thing.
Is it a spell that you can use?
It's sort of a healing spell. It's soothe. Says healing wounds regains 1d10 plus 4, and plus 2 status bonus to saves against mental effects.
And how many times per day can you cast that?
Once.
Did you
Yay.
want to cast that before you went to sleep?
Okay.
Can I
Yes.
recommend casting that before you go to sleep?
Why? I got my hit points back. If I go sleepy.
You got 2 hit points back, right?
How many hit points do you have?
You didn't get your level, so you were at 3 hit points, right?
Yeah.
So what's your Constitution modifier?
Plus 1.
So you're now at 4 hit points.
Oh, we only get 1 hit point when we go
Plus
to sleep?
the Constitution
Yes.
modifier, yeah.
And that's because you're out camping. So if you got a full day's rest, you would be able to get more than just your modifier. Generally, it's your level plus your modifier, if I remember correctly. It's still new.
But yes, I should probably use this.
Yes.
That's 12. So 6.
Okay. So right before you bedded down, you used your soothe ability, gained 6 more hit points. And so that should put you at 10 right now, right?
Yes.
Excellent. And so now everyone's spells are back. All the preparations are done for the morning. And the light of dawn has kicked up, and the first rays are now hitting Castle Alterain. So y'all know of 4 potential entrances. One that's staring y'all, or staring right in front of y'all, is the front door is slightly open and ajar, as the red smoke from the top continues to billow upwards.
And we know that we have 4 entrances outside of... No, we have 3 entrances outside of that main entrance.
Yes.
Well, Bread seems to be the one who did all the research, so which would you recommend?
We should go through the back door.
So you have The open door is on the eastern side. So you have fallen masonry up on the northern side, the southern side, and a small bit in the back western side. So if you want to, which one do you consider to be the back door?
The western side.
It
Okay.
looks like it has very little use.
Okay. So y'all begin traveling around, and as y'all get to the back end of the keep, it's still very shaded, but you can see where there is crumbled masonry leading into one of the rooms. But it does look like it is elevated from where y'all are at, and you'll probably need to make a climb check to get up there.
Are you using acrobatics or?
So climb is generally athletics.
I have nothing.
23.
Well, I got a 14 anyway.
26.
Can I make it in acrobatics if I try to be clever about it?
Well, do you have anything you could use for a climbing implement to make that make sense?
Not that would not piss off the party members.
Could she grab on to the Kervosin while he climbs? He got a 23, so.
I just like to think Bread picked her up like this and is like,
So, Demos, what was yours?
14.
And you were at
26.
26, and you were at 23.
I haven't rolled yet.
Yeah, you need to roll.
What's the minus if I don't have athletics learned?
If you, well, it's not a minus. If you don't have athletics, it's just a straight D20 roll.
Oh,
Yeah, it's not like the plate.
9.
So, who attempted it first?
Stano would have. She'd have been in front.
So, as you get up there, the crumbling masonry definitely made this difficult. And it already being masonry to start with wasn't helpful. But through there, you were able to get up, not quite like it was the easiest thing that you've ever done. It was definitely a challenging climb. And you're not sure exactly how Demos or Taffy would be able to do it. And as soon as Bread picks up Taffy, we're turning into a Dragon Ball Z episode. Everyone's names are going after food now. So after Bread picks up Taffy and starts climbing, you realize very quickly that carrying the extra weight with this masonry is not a wise idea. And you would need to re-attempt it, because as soon as you get 5 feet up, you have to kick yourself back from the wall to prevent yourself from tumbling and just like throwing Taffy to the wind to try to catch and save yourself.
How far up is the order trying to get to?
So you're up a solid 15 feet, but it's the mix of the crumbling masonry that's there. You can definitely tell that it's some sort of, as you're trying to get up, you can see that there's definitely shelves and library and stuff that would be associated with, like desks and furniture and the like in there. But you just need to get a little bit more elevation. And Demos, not even a shot at it.
How aerodynamic is a no?
Not as aerodynamic as you would want them to be.
As aerodynamic as a goblin.
Well, it depends on what they're being shot from.
3.
Oh no.
And just to make sure, you handed me your button to re-roll your climb check, right?
Mm-hmm.
Of the very difficult climb that Steno said.
Actually, let's just resend that. Sorry. Thank you.
Just wanted to make sure the stakes were clear before
Yeah.
we used a button on it.
I have another idea.
So,
Steno's
Steno's
already
up
up.
there.
You three stay. And she's gonna
Throw a rope down.
kind.
What?
She's gonna kind of poke around, just in her immediate area, see if she can find something kind of lower down to make this a little bit easier.
Do you have any room?
So as you look around, this wrecked room holds toppled shelves and filing cabinets. And the wall that you entered in through is entirely collapsed. And you can see the verdant weeds and undergrowth as you stand outside. And you're just like, that's just wonderful that it made it even harder to climb up.
So I'm being creative here now.
Okay.
What if I have 50 feet of rope for my adventuring pack that I purchased when I got started.
Okay.
Is there a chunk of masonry about a good size that I could tie the rope to and have somebody stronger than me throw?
Well, with Steno up in the...
Well, to make it easy for Steno to catch, essentially.
Well, for the distance, you should be able to do that. And that will ease it up. Steno, give me a perception check.
24.
So you look along the southeastern wall of the room, and it appears that there is it's hard to tell whether it's a mound of meat or dirt. It's a bit difficult to tell tell kind of what's going on there. You can see that in the lightward side, from where the crumbled masonry is done, there's a snarl of wild blackberry vines that is encroached into this room. And you also see 3 things moving. I need y'all to all roll perception checks.
8.
12.
Oh boy.
I have a quick question.
Mhm.
Does with my tracking ability, I get a bonus if I'm currently tracking my prey?
Yep.
Would this count towards that?
No.
No. Okay, so I got a 17.
And Taffy?
5.
Steno, you see coming out from underneath the toppled shelves and from the hidden corners what appear to be 3 giant rats. And they do not seem to be very pleased with your entrance into their abode and your threatening of their meat pile that is here.
Oh, so it was me.
Gross. Meat
Yeah.
pile.
Cool. She's gonna draw her sword.
They move to attack you,
Okay.
and then they each take an attack on you. What is your AC presently?
18.
18?
Mhm.
The first one hits you.
What?
Take 6 points of piercing damage and give me a fortitude save.
The hell kind of rats are these?
Giant ones.
Oh. 23.
Excellent. You can tell that these rats don't necessarily have the cleanest mouths in the world.
How much?
You took 6 points of piercing damage. One of the rats attempts to bite at your foot, but just ends up getting kicked in the face in the process. But then the other one also is able to get right in on your leg and hits you again, dealing you 5 points of damage. Give me another fortitude save.
17.
These are definitely not the cleanest creatures.
So did I fail that save, or?
Red, it is your turn.
So I guess I need to roll again to climb.
Yes.
But I've thrown out the rope, so...
Right, so Steno, you have the rope in your hand?
Yeah.
Okay. Are you going to assist in him coming up?
I kind of just got attacked by rats.
Yes,
so...
you did. Are you going to drop the rope?
Yeah, I'm gonna drop the rope.
Okay, so you have to do it unassisted.
Okay. What'd you say that was? Athletics?
Yes.
16.
16?
Yeah.
You get part of the way up, but then you have to, you're not all the way up there yet. So that's taken part of your move. You can use another move to try to get up again.
Yeah, that's what I'll do. 11.
11. You are not able to make any progress on that one. You want to use your final action?
Yeah.
18. You're able to just pull yourself up onto the ledge, but while you're there on the ledge, you're presently flat-footed there at that part of the ledge. Demos.
Well, let's take a stab at it.
Demos, you are on the ground. You are on a different level and don't have direct access to the rats. You'd have to try to climb up.
That's what I'm gonna have to do.
Yeah, I think that's what Jules was referring to. Was taking a stab at getting up there.
All right.
18.
18. You're able to get part of the way, but not all the way.
Okay, let's take another move to try to get there. 17.
You are right there at the lip of it, but you're presently in the same kind of state as Bread is. So You
So
are
you two dudes just like hooked, like with your arms on this ledge, just like hanging out, like girls in a slumber party. Just...
pretty much at this point. You take
So-
one more action to stand.
Okay. Is it still athletics to stand or just...
No, you're at the top now. But so your first 2 actions get you up the slope, and then you need to stand as your 3rd action, and it's just standing at that point.
Oh, then I'm just gonna stand.
Yes. Steno.
It's my turn.
Yes, you've been attacked by 3 rats. 2 of them properly bit you, and it did not feel nice.
The last one that bit me, it's right there?
Yes.
Cool. I'm gonna power attack it.
Do it.
This counts as 2 attack. Do I need to roll twice for this, or?
Oh.
Okay.
Power attack now.
16.
Where's your AC? 16?
Yep.
Hits.
Cool.
Deals your damage.
19.
What weapon are you using?
My greatsword.
Your greatsword. So you just bring your sword out now that you're at the top. Now that you've dropped the rope, because when you were first starting this, you knew you were going to have to drop the rope anyway to properly wield your 2-handed sword. And now you just bring it down on top of the rat like a club, and it just splats. You can hear the crack of the spine as it just falls dead at your strike as you just
That's
down
gross.
onto it.
Oh, hilariously, I forgot to add my bonus to that.
Well, it's dead.
But you do have 1 action left now.
What is the penalty for doing a third action, for doing another attack?
What does it say for power attack?
This counts as 2 attacks when calculating your multiple attack penalty.
And so since you're not using an agile weapon,
Mm-hmm.
your second penalty would be -10. So it would be your maximum bonus -10. So I think you're at a -3 total?
Yeah. Do I have the ability to just kind of... If I pick up the rope, I have to put away the greatsword, Taffy. It's 2-handed greatsword.
The sword in one hand.
You could hold it in one hand, but you couldn't strike with it while you hold
Yeah.
the rope.
Is there a way for me to just kind of shift away from the rats without...
You can move.
Alright, I'm just going to take a step away from the other 2 rats.
All right. So y'all are all kind of backed up onto the opening
Mm-hmm.
that's there. So do you want to try to move around behind the rats or to the side of the rats?
Just kind of to the side.
Okay.
Just like slightly shuffle out of their direct reach.
Taffy. You see Steno moving around. Bread is scrambling up to the top over the masonry. And then you just see Demos now standing at the edge. 2 rats apparently being very hungry and trying to have Steno for a snack.
Give me 1 second.
Stay no stack. Snack.
Can I even remotely see the rats?
Yes.
Alright, from where I'm at, I'm going to target the other rat that successfully bit Stenos. Sorry. I'm going to try to do this right. And use a different dice because that other one sucks. I am going to cast Magic Missile.
Okay.
And I'm going to heighten it. So I'm going to use all 3 actions to cast it.
Okay.
So that's 3 missiles.
Excellent. So that's 3d4, right?
Oh, wait, it always hits, so
Yep.
that wouldn't have mattered anyway. I did get a 20 on that roll.
Wasted critical.
I know. Oh, wait, 3. Yeah.
D4.
Yep, you're absolutely right.
You sure we can't roll 3d6?
Right?
Yeah, it's not mini fireball, no. D4.
1, 2, 3.
See, and it's still D4 plus 1 per missile.
Yep. 10.
So you see Steno begins circling around. You can see that the rat's attention is trying to go and focus on the aggressor, and then these bolts of force just hit into it, and you see one of them spinning on the backside, and then the other catch it, and then the third one just lifts it and slams it against the following back wall, and it crumples down. And now you have only but one rat threatening you.
Rats are gross.
Oh, sweet, sweet Taffy. You amuse me greatly. And it is now this remaining rat's turn. He saw it. It's hard to tell large rat genders. But seeing what's going on
It's not.
when...
No, it's not. If that's a rat, no, it's not.
Yeah, no.
Someone knows more about rat anatomy than I do.
You know when it's a male rat.
Damn.
Then
It's really back there.
Then we will
In the
assume it
words
is a
of
female rat.
AC/DC, they have big balls.
This tells me I need to watch the Nature Channel more often. But what it does mean is that this rat, which is now obviously a female rat, because that's not what I'm going to imagine in this combat, the female rat is going to target Demos in this case. Demos, what is your AC?
14.
It attempts to bite you, but misses.
God.
But it will attempt to one more strike at you. AC was a 14?
Yes.
Its second one is able to hit you. And hit you for 2 points of damage. Give me a fortitude save.
7.
You can tell as this bites you that the saliva just seems to do something weird to your blood, and it obviously is just this giant red gash where it gets you.
You know you got bad blood.
It is it is definitely a very unhappy wound. And it is now Bread's turn. Oh, Bread.
All right, Bread's gonna lift himself up.
Is this Bread rising?
It's
Only-
the yeast he can
yeah,
do.
only if I have a yeast infection.
All right, so you take one action to stand. You have 2 left.
Okay, I'm gonna do
That's
my
upside
class
down.
ability, twin takedown.
Okay.
I get to use both of my weapons on one movement or one action. So
All right, roll.
that was cool.
You do have a button.
I do have a button, but I don't think I'm gonna use it for this. It's just rats. For my short sword, that I guess 12
12
12
misses.
misses. And then I guess I would roll again for the hatchet. Is that
Yep.
how that works? Jeez. 8.
8 also misses. And if I need to, I will go pull some drops from the Glass Cannon podcast because they have some great things about rolling very low. And it will be hilarious, and I will love the heck out of it. And then I'll have to go ask them if we can use it properly in this podcast. But I will if I need to. I don't need you rolling once all the time. Or we'll have to make one ourselves.
I can't help it.
So
Oh.
Bread stands up, and then bringing out both of his weapons, he takes 2 attacks. And as he's standing, he drew his hatchet and his short sword. Swings both of them down at the rat, but just a little bit of the masonry just slips a little bit, and he's not able to get his proper footing for the strikes. Demos.
Well, I think using that can at the moment, so I'm just gonna pull out my rapier and take a stab at it.
Okay, doke.
20.
20 hits.
Awesome. 4.
4 points of damage?
Yep.
It is still up, but you stab into its side, and it is now a bleeding rat.
And what's the penalty for doing it a second time?
So you're using your rapier, right?
Yes.
That is an agile weapon, and it is your second attack, so it'll be your maximum bonus -4.
So I have a bonus of 3, so it's...
So it'll be -1.
Okay, let's try. Well, I rolled an 18, so 17.
17 hits.
2.
2 points of damage. And you, after you stab it, you then slash it across part of its face, and it's now got this... part of its cheek is slashed open and its tongue is now lolled out because of that.
I will use the cantrip, Inspire Courage.
Okay. And what does Inspire Courage do?
It's a +1 status bonus to my allies' attack rolls, damage rolls, and saves against fear.
Excellent.
It lasts for 1 round.
Steno, it is your turn. This
Okay.
rat has been stabbed, its face slashed open, and it just looks gnarly, waggling a tongue out the side of its cheek now.
I'm gonna step up and I'm gonna power attack it.
Do it!
Maybe not.
You do have the +1.
16.
16 hits.
Good.
Roll the damage.
And right before she makes contact with it, she's gonna look over at the Corvos and go, "Let me show you how a real fighter takes care of shit." 18 damage. 19 damage.
You added all your bonuses?
23 damage.
This thing had 2 hit points left. So, in your best golfing swing, you take your sword and you punt with your sword, and it slashes
Can I
and
have a
cleaves.
reflex action to cast shield?
And then just out the side of the keep is this half rat just spewing. Go ahead and give me your reflex.
Oh no!
What did you roll?
I rolled a 4.
And then as the 2 halves fall to either side of Taffy,
Can Wimble make a reflex save?
yeah, let Wimble make a reflex save.
Oh my god!
What did you roll?
3!
So, just the gore just falls right onto Taffy, and then as Wimble's trying to dodge out of the way, he gets whacked by the rat's tail on the way down, and just lands right next to the thing as it oozes out.
Stano's gonna poke her head out. You good?
No.
Oh well.
Demos.
If I had my books here, I'd raise this thing and kick it in the face. I mean, I'm okay now.
Okay, that's good.
Can I get up there with you guys, please?
I'm gonna grab the rope and toss the end down for her.
Demos, give me an athletics check.
Oh.
I tie the end of the rope around myself and
I got
let
an
them drag
18.
me up.
You realize as you're uncoiling the rope down, that all of a sudden you start feeling this heat sensation in your body, and you're now sickened. It seems as though they really were filthy, filthy rats. And you now have the sickened 1 condition. And you just now barely kept yourself from falling forward on the masonry as it began to rack you with fever. But you're able to push yourself back to keep from falling. And we'll see what happens next time. Da-da-da-da-da-da.